In the mid-19th century, as America surged into the industrial age, the nation was abuzz with innovation, opportunities, and unbridled ambition. Amidst this fervor, a young surveyor named Thomas Merriweather was a humble yet determined employee of the burgeoning Pacific Railroad Company. He was passionate about the promise that railroads brought, linking distant towns, spurring commerce, and nurturing a land of dreams. But what lay hidden beneath the gleaming tracks was about to shake the very foundations of his beliefs. The 1850s marked a transformative period for the U.S., particularly with the passage of the Pacific Railway Act in 1862. This act facilitated the construction of the first transcontinental railroad, granting immense land and financial incentives to railroad companies. Thomas, enthusiastic and ambitious, found himself deeply entrenched in the planning phase, surveying lands that promised both challenge and fortune. However, as fieldwork progressed, Thomas began uncovering documents that hinted at a different narrative, a narrative tangled with ambition and corruption. The railroad's construction seemed propelled not just by a commitment to progress, but also by clandestine deals made in smoke-filled rooms. Powerful railroad magnates, including the infamous Collis Potter Huntington, were allegedly engaged in corruption, paying off politicians, swindling land from innocent farmers, and trampling rights along the way. One chilling evening, while poring over contracts in his dimly lit office, Thomas discovered a notation referencing expedited land assessments. It dawned on him that many small farmers, unaware of the railroad's true intentions, had been coerced into surrendering their properties under false promises of fair compensation. Railroad agents preying on their need for money had forced handshakes and signatures, while apparently legitimatizing these land grabs through the very law meant to protect them. As he delved deeper, Thomas started receiving anonymous threats warning him to stop pursuing the truth. Unfazed yet shaken, he began confiding in a few trusted colleagues, including Martha, a fiery young activist who rallied local farmers against railroad encroachment. Together, they organized clandestine meetings where they unearthed more evidence of the conspiracy, revealing collusion between government officials and railroad executives. One particularly fateful night, as the duo prepared to publish their findings, they were confronted by agents hired by the railroad. In a brimming showdown on the outskirts of town, the agents demanded all incriminating documents, asserting that the railroad was above reproach and that their livelihoods depended on maintaining the peace. Fearing for their lives, Thomas and Martha escaped into the shadows, clutching their papers. The climate grew tenser as the railroad continued its encroachment across the American landscape. With each track laid, more personal stories of loss emerged. Lives upended, homes destroyed. Thomas, now fully awakened to the disparity between rhetoric and reality, decided the truth had to be set free. They would leak the documents to the press. No more shadows, no more silence. In a calculated move, they approached a journalist from a major New York paper, who was driven by a desire to expose the hypocrisy of the Gilded Age. The story broke, echoing across the nation. Revolting on the rails, local landowners trapped in a web of deceit. It sent shockwaves through both the railroad industry and competing news outlets. Soon, Congress demanded a hearing to investigate the railroads. The exposé sparked outrage, uniting farmers and city dwellers alike against a common enemy. Yet, the railroad barons didn't go down without a fight. Their influence loomed large over legislative processes. Amid this turmoil, Thomas and Martha became symbols of a grassroots movement, unyielding in their quest for justice. Though they faced increasing threats, including damage to their homes and whispers in the dark, they pressed on, rallying the populace against the wrathful rail empires. By the late 1870s, significant parts of the rail system were scrutinized. Though the conspiracy was not entirely unraveled, legislation sought to protect citizens against such corruption. Thomas Merriweather, driven by integrity and justice, found himself forever marked by this tumultuous journey. As the railroads stretched on, carrying the dreams and trades across states, the trials of the farmers and the conspiratorial excesses of the magnates remained a melancholic reminder of the price of progress, the struggle for truth amid the echo of iron wheels on steel tracks.